Scorpio, the Chariot appears when power is available but direction is not optional. You may have enough intensity to pursue several outcomes, defend several positions, and prepare for several possible battles. This week asks you to choose what is actually worth carrying forward. Victory begins when your energy stops pulling against itself. Your card for August 5th through August 11th is the Chariot. The central message is that discipline becomes freedom when every important part of you agrees on the direction. The shadow expression would be confusing control with progress and reacting to every obstacle as though it deserves your full force. The wiser expression is choosing one priority, regulating competing impulses, and advancing through consistent decisions rather than emotional acceleration. This is not a prediction that one literal event must occur. It is a decision-making lens for recognizing the pattern when it appears. On August 6th, Venus enters Libra and moves through your 12th house of rest, closure, the subconscious, private fears, and what happens behind the scenes. Venus brings attention to attraction, values, harmony, and the quality of exchange. Through the lens of the Chariot, this transit asks you to notice what becomes more appealing when you are acting from self-respect rather than habit. Let beauty and connection support the lesson of the card, but do not use harmony to avoid the truth the card is revealing. On August 9th, Mercury enters Leo and activates your 10th house of career, responsibility, reputation, and the direction of your public life. Mercury changes the way information moves, how decisions are framed, and what needs to be spoken or understood. For Scorpio, this can help translate the message of the Chariot into language and practical choices. Use the transit to ask better questions, clarify assumptions, and give the central lesson of the reading a form you can act on. On August 11th, Mars enters Cancer and moves into your 9th house of beliefs, study, travel, meaning, and the perspective guiding your future. Mars brings drive, friction, courage, and the desire to act. Its energy can help you implement the lesson of the Chariot, but it may also tempt you to rush before the emotional meaning is understood. Direct the energy toward one constructive action in this area rather than allowing irritation or urgency to choose for you. The deeper invitation of the Chariot is not to perform the card's most familiar keyword. It is to notice the choice beneath it. For Scorpio, that choice may appear in the space between instinct and response. You may already understand this situation intellectually, but the week asks whether your behavior reflects that understanding. Watch for the moment when an old reflex offers immediate relief. That moment is not a failure, it is the doorway into a different decision. Also notice what you are tempted to make this card mean about your identity. The Chariot describes an energy and a lesson, not a permanent definition of who you are. You can work with its message without turning it into a verdict. The most useful question is not, "Why am I like this?" It is, "What response would make this pattern less powerful by the end of the week?" In love, the Chariot asks whether the relationship has a shared direction. Chemistry can move two people quickly, but speed does not guarantee alignment. Venus entering your 12th house may make feelings more private, complicated, or connected to unfinished emotional material. Be honest with yourself before demanding certainty from someone else. At work, Mercury entering your 10th house supports visibility, strategy, and important professional communication. State the objective clearly. The Chariot favors leadership, but leadership is not doing everything yourself. Define the destination, assign responsibility, and stop allowing side conflicts to consume the energy needed for the main goal. Financially, focus on direction rather than emotional reaction. A strong plan may require saying no to an attractive distraction. Mars entering your 9th house can increase investment in study, travel, credentials, or expansion. Choose the expense that supports your longer path, not the one that temporarily makes you feel powerful. Your energy may be strong, but the Chariot warns against treating momentum as proof that you are regulated. Build recovery into the plan before exhaustion forces it. Physical movement can sharpen focus, especially when frustration has nowhere to go, but intensity should serve direction rather than become another arena for control. Wednesday is for choosing the destination. Define the one result that would make the week meaningfully different. Thursday, Venus enters Libra and your 12th house. Notice hidden desires, private grief, or an old attachment without letting secrecy make the decision for you. Friday asks you to reduce competing priorities. One clear no can restore momentum to the right yes. Saturday favors focused movement. Work in one uninterrupted block and measure progress by completion, not intensity. Sunday, Mercury enters Leo and your 10th house. Speak publicly, make the proposal, or clarify the professional direction others need to understand. Monday is for course correction. Adjust the method without abandoning the destination simply because the first route was imperfect. Tuesday, Mars enters Cancer and your 9th house. Act on a belief, study plan, journey, or expansion goal that broadens your future rather than defending your past. Here are your 3 journal prompts. Where is the lesson of the Chariot already visible in my life, even if I have not named it? What would change if I practiced this week's central truth, that discipline becomes freedom when every important part of you agrees on the direction, in one concrete situation? Which response would allow me to respect both my feelings and my future? Your weekly guidance is this. Write one destination statement for the week. By Tuesday, I will have moved this forward by. Make the result concrete and small enough to complete. Then list every task competing for attention and mark each as advance, maintain, or distract. Do the advance task first each day. Limit distract tasks until the destination statement is complete. Do not use the exercise to create another standard you can fail. Use it to collect evidence. The purpose is to make the message of the Chariot visible in behavior, because insight becomes trustworthy when it changes one real decision. Scorpio, this week does not require dramatic reinvention. It asks for one honest correction repeated consistently. You may notice that the old pattern still speaks loudly, but volume is not authority. Let the card become a lens rather than a label. Let the astrology provide timing and context rather than certainty. Most of all, let your next action become proof that awareness is already changing the way you move. One more layer deserves attention. This card can become distorted when you try to solve its lesson through performance alone. A polished response may look convincing while leaving the deeper pattern untouched. This week, measure progress by what becomes simpler, more honest, and more sustainable after the decision. Notice whether your body relaxes when you tell the truth, whether your schedule becomes more coherent when you choose a priority, and whether your relationships become clearer when you stop managing every possible reaction. The card is not asking for perfection. It is asking for congruence between what you know, what you say, and what you repeatedly do. One more layer deserves attention. This card can become distorted when you try to solve its lesson through performance alone. A polished response may look convincing while leaving the deeper pattern untouched. This week, measure progress by what becomes simpler, more honest, and more sustainable after the decision. Notice whether your body relaxes when you tell the truth, whether your schedule becomes more coherent when you choose a priority, and whether your relationships become clearer when you stop managing every possible reaction. The card is not asking for perfection. It is asking for congruence between what you know, what you say, and what you repeatedly do. One more layer deserves attention. This card can become distorted when you try to solve its lesson through performance alone. A polished response may look convincing while leaving the deeper pattern untouched. This week, measure progress by what becomes simpler, more honest, and more sustainable after the decision. Notice whether your body relaxes when you tell the truth, whether your schedule becomes more coherent when you choose a priority, and whether your relationships become clearer when you stop managing every possible reaction. The card is not asking for perfection. It is asking for congruence between what you know, what you say, and what you repeatedly do. The Chariot becomes especially powerful when you define what you will not chase. Not every delay is resistance, not every disagreement is opposition, and not every invitation deserves a detour. Your intensity can make secondary problems feel worthy of a full campaign. This week, protect the main direction by refusing unnecessary battles. Ask whether the next action moves the destination closer, maintains what matters, or merely proves that you can exert force. Real command is visible in selection. The strongest movement may begin with a disciplined refusal to scatter your power. Before the week ends, remove one unnecessary objective from your list. Notice the energy that returns when you stop pretending every goal has equal importance. Use that recovered attention on the destination that still feels true after the urgency, pride, and outside expectations have been separated from it. Your affirmation for this week is, "My power becomes effective when I choose a direction and move with disciplined purpose." Carry that with you through August 11th. Subscribe so your next weekly reading is waiting for you. Trust the timing. The stars have spoken.